even though he's in the bottom. He can't really have a real a sense of Elokus. But nevertheless, he's Misoira. He has an inkling. He has a little spark, a little shine, a little insight. So this is Arusa Sato. It's called Hiserus from up below. As a result of that, Nasa is Arusa de Le'elo. That affects, that will be Arusa de Le'elo, a response, an arousal from above, is Arusa de Le'elo from above. Li es brocha, b'shem havaya mamush. That there should be a brocha. Brocha, we said already before, what does brocha mean? Bringing down. That there should be brocha in Shem Havaya, all the way to the top. Here we talk about Arusa de Sato, that he's misoyer to come. The nefesh olekis, the nefesh abam is misoyer from the nefesh olekis. That's within the human being. It's a very low level. But as a result of him desiring and misoyer to olokus, that effect that is a Arusa de Le'elo, there's a misoyer from above, from Shem Havaya, from above. Matzilus, that it should be, he said of the Shemavaya Mamos, the real Shemavaya, not the Shemavaya that's in the Nefesh, but the real Shemavaya, the Maila in Atzilus. Sheyumshach min ha'olam, that it should be nimshach, it should be drawn down, min ha'olam. As we said, min ha'olam v'ad ha'olam, from one world to the other, which is the two worlds, me'amod yiskasyo, La'almodis Galyo, from the concealed world to the revealed world. And at this point, we already know what we mean by the concealed world and the revealed world. Right? We discussed it last time.
I know we discussed it, but just like in brief.
Okay. No, I don't mind at all. I mean, just.
Sorry.
Do you want to say it?
So the Alma Discussi is like Vassilis? Or it's higher than that?
No. Alma Discussi is Atzilus. Alma Discussi, there are many Madrigas Alma Discussi. Primarily, it's Elam Atzilus.
So when we refer to like Alma Discussi, that's referring to Vassilis, though, right? So
yes. Yes. My point when I say, do you understand the Alma Discussi and Alma Disgalia, is not so much the name, what name it has, but primarily what it stands for. Why is it a Scasio? Why is it a hidden world?
Because there isn't so much life. Sorry, because like, the Eliphas isn't revealed so much.
I'm sorry, say again?
No, it's not that. It's not revealed to the person. No. I guess the Eliphas isn't revealed to the world as much.
Right. Why is it not revealed?
Means like this world I'm talking about, right?
Right.
So because it's more idle over there, up there.
Right. Okay. Because it is at a level that cannot be revealed in the world. And when we learned it and discussed it, I gave you various illustrations of that. That certain things you know, and there's no way it can be expressed in isgalio, in a revealed and a formal manner. So I'm going to discuss it. Let me review some of these illustrations. It's very important that we should keep these things alive in our mind. Very simple. Like we just now discussed about sight. Sight gives a person a sense of reality. Can any one of you explain what that means?
Explain what? What's your question?
I said sight, we all understood, gives a person a sense of reality. Can anyone explain what that means? Can you explain what that means?
You want to answer or you don't want to answer?
Huh?
You want to answer or you don't want to answer?
Why what's the difference? You tell me. Can you explain what it is?
Maybe. I don't know. I have no idea. Maybe it's just like when you don't see, you're living in the imagination, I guess.
And what you do see? It's real. What does real mean?
You see something outside.
Why is it more real than I touch? Why do I need to see it? Why not touch?
Because that guy can tell you that it's not real. That's not that way you see it. It's
But I'm touching it.
You can see
Can somebody tell you that you're not touching it and you're touching it? Nobody can tell you that. You say, like once a blind person doesn't have a real world. Why? He's touching it. Like we asked before, why can't you enjoy your meal Friday night if you don't have light? You're not eating with your sight, you're eating with your mouth.
Because the person who touches, he has to come in contact with it in order to know that it's there.
Right.
But a person who could see it doesn't have to like affect him personally.
Right, and therefore,
And therefore it's independent of him. So that's the reality. That's the idea of reality, is something that's outside of him.
okay. I have to answer this, I'm sorry. Yes, David. Yeah, you better talk to them. I don't know. To go there, it's an impossible tircha. I mean, it has to be something more concrete. On what basis are you going there? Let the Misaskim talk to them and tell them, okay, you know, there's a real reason for you to go. It's a very big tircha. To the Achar Kaddish over there. See if there's anything substantial, yes. I think so. For you to go, they say, you know, you go there, son. So what? You're on the phone. What's the difference? What? What's the difference if you're there, if you're or you're talking on the phone? There's no difference. What would the difference? I'm explaining. My question is, can you explain this sense of reality? It's not what's the difference whether you touch or you see. That we can explain, like you said. Touch, you have to come in contact. We discussed it many times. But what does reality mean? Where is it coming from? What kind of animal is that? You know what I'm saying? Touch, it's right there. It has weight, it has size, it has a feel, it has a color. What's reality? What kind of Metzius is it? You know what kind of Metzius it is? A godly Metzius. There's no way you can really explain it and understand it.
You can't perceive that without sight.
I mean, don't perceive it without sight. It depends. I mean, we can perceive it on a higher level, like if somebody has chokhmah and so forth, but physically speaking, you can perceive it outside. This is why those people who do not relate to the fact that Hashem created the world, their world is not real. It's not real.
people that what? Like, don't relate.
To the ungodly world, so that Hashem created the world. The world is not real. It's just imagination.
The world is not real. It's all, circumstantial. Like I asked before the other day, I told you. I asked the boys by me, Purim night, what would happen if the world went to north, evaporated into nothingness? If nobody suffered, nothing happened. That was the answer. This is the answer that you get if you perceive just the world without a godly presence in it.
What's real mean?
Real is I said, only godliness is real. And that we don't understand. The Rebbe gives it. It's not something that we can understand. Because we are limited to understand that's in the world. That's what the Rambam says. I repeat again many times. He has a true presence, and therefore he brings out all the creatures, all that exists, and he gives them an element of truth because of his presence. Otherwise, they don't have an element of truth. And to explain this is impossible because it's not a tangible thing. We know it. It's not something that can be explained. Remember we spoke about having a host of the dinner? Everybody understood? What's that? What does the host contribute to your dinner? Anything? What? The dinner is the same dinner.
Can't explain it.
Can't explain. So these things is very important to recognize. Yes, indeed, you can't explain it, but it's real. And don't let anybody, Chas v'shalom, question that. This is what the world is about, No, be real. What be real means be tangible. Tangibility is not real already.
So what's the definition of real?
What?
So what is real? Saying what is how do you explain? So something real.
I can't explain. I'm 1 second. You and you and you and you and you are able to relate to it because you're human beings and you have a neshama. Without that, we wouldn't be communicating at this level. Real means it's something that comes from a real source. There's reality behind it. It's there because God is there. You come into my house and you see a clock on the wall. You discuss this. See the clock on the wall. Now the clock and the clock and the wall are two separate entities. You can easily pick up the clock and move it to a different wall. If all you saw was the clock on the wall, then you can say, oh, I like it over here. Pick it up, put it over here. But you'll never do it. If you have any sense, you'll never do it. Why? Why? Huh? It's not my house. So it's not the clock on the wall. It's the person who put the clock on the wall that you are respecting. But you don't see him putting it on the wall. And if you pick it up, he's not going to scream at you. Hey, what are you doing? Oh, he's an idiot over here this time. He's picking it up. Right? But you never do it if you have any sense. Not because you're respecting the clock, not because you're respecting the wall, but because you're respecting the will of the person who put it in. That's in fact reality, real. On the human, on the low level. Okay. So this is the Amadis Kasi and Amadis Gali. Amadis Kasi is that which we cannot put into tangible entities. It's reality itself. We can't put it into tangible. We can recreate it at a different level. It's just reality. Amadis Galio is that which is a composite, which is put together in many different pieces. When Amadis Casio is brought down, is revealed in Amadis Galio, it means that you recognize that in this revealed world, really, everything that you see in the real world is really a godly element, a godly truth. Not just a structure put together. But there's reality to this. Like, for example, you see a tree growing. Tree growing? How's a tree grow? Oh, it has roots, and it goes down in the ground. In the ground there are minerals, and it draws water and minerals from the ground, and this is how it sustains itself. This is all fine and true. The real thing that you're observing when the tree grows is the Meibish's presence. The Meibisha said it should grow, so it definitely grows. It's a godly element. That's Amadis Kasya in Amadis Galia. Okay. Okay, we have the senior. Let's continue for it. V'zehu gam kein pirush. This also is the meaning of the words that we say. Now, but similar, just as we explain min ha'elam v'ad ha'elam. Similarly, this also is the meaning of the words Baruch she'omar v'haya ha'elam. Again, now we know the word Baruch means what? To draw down. Hamavrich as a gift. Baruch she'omer v'haya ha'elam. What are we drawing down over here? The ma she'omer kvar. That which he already said from before. V'haya ha'elam. As a result of his saying, Haya ha'elam, the world came to be. B'bechin as yesh me'yayin. And how did the world, what type of world was created as a result of She'omer v'haya ha'elam? What kind of world do we have? It's called Yesh Me'yayin. It's a world that represents Yesh Me'yayin. Let me explain these words Yesh Me'yayin for the moment. We see the world, we see the Yesh. Like we said, we see the tree growing and all the Yesh elements, the roots and the minerals and the water and so forth. The tree, the physical process, that's the Yesh. But what initiates all that? What gives it the impetus, the inspiration, the koyach to do all that, we don't see. Just for one point, do we realize that a tree is alive?
Keeps on growing.
Keeps on growing? It's a tzemeach. What is the life force in the tree?
I mean, the chas laki.
Huh?
What the chas laki? Is that good?
No. The chayes aliki, that we understand. But if you observe the tree, what do you see? You see a yesh, but the chayes that gives it is ayin. You don't see what makes it do. What makes it do what it does. What's the chayes that makes this whole thing happen? Think of yourself. You wake up in the morning, and you have to get up. The sun rose, you have to get up. In order to get up, you have to have some kind of an inspiration, an impetus, right? Why should I get up? And you remember, I have to get up because of this, because of that, whatever it is. Have some inspiration. Say, Moide Ani, what's inspiring the tree to continue to grow? Right? Valid question. Look, these trees were all barren just a few weeks ago, but now they're all laden with greenery. What happened? What woke them up? All of a sudden they started growing and producing these leaves and drawing from the earth sustenance. What happened?
Rain.
Right? Rain goes into the earth. This is called ayin. There's a koyach ayin, koyach aliki, that we don't see, and there's no way for us to correlate it.
So what's correlating?
Correlate means show the connection, to connect. So, Boru She'omar v'hoyo ha'elo. He said, and the world came to be. And what is the being of the world that came from She'omar by this saying, by this statement? It became a world that's called Yesh Mayayin. A Yesh that you don't see its soul, you don't see its real life force. What makes it be? Yesh Mayayin. The Hainu, which means, Hashem said that the world was created by Amir, by 10 utterances.
So that was the way how it was Mamshir. Baruch is
No, Baruch will come to Baruch. First we're explaining Shomer V'Hayolam. Shomer V'Hayolam, the world was created by Amir, by speech. And what kind of world was it? World. Yesh Miyai, the Hainu, which means B'Bchinas Hel and V'Hester. That this Amira created a world that the Chayas that's in it is Hel and V'Hester. It's not, you can't identify it. To the extent, Shenira L'Yesh V'Dava Nifrat, that the world actually appears, you see it as a yesh, as a presence unto itself, dava nifrad, as something which is detached and separated from its source. It's an entity unto itself. Shezehu mashin is have. This is what was created. Mibchinas asora ma'amoris. From this bechina, from this aspect, it's called asora ma'amoris, the 10 statements, the 10 utterances. From these 10 utterances was created a world that is yesh miyayin, and the chayas in it is completely concealed, to the extent that the world represents itself as a separate entity. This is essentially what happens, the meaning of saying that Hashem created the world by an utterance, by speech. Just like in speech, when a person speaks, what happens in the speech? Person, however he creates a speech, he creates a sound, and that sound can now travel, and anybody can hear it, and it becomes separate from the person who said it. Once said, what's the expression? Once you said, you can retract it back. Better watch out what you say, because once it's said, you can take it back, because it becomes separate from you. And this is the mashal thing. Hashem, Asora Ma'amon, Hashem spoke. Speaking, the idea of calling it speech, is to denote, to express how that the world was created in a way that it is set, it stands on its own, separate. Hashem said, He created it, but once He created it, it's independent. It exists on its own. Dover Nifrat. And because it's a double nifrod, this is why it becomes a yesh. A yesh with double nifrod. I don't know if I should go into explaining the concept of yesh. I don't want to, have to show them confuse you. But very briefly, and a little bit on a touch. Yesh with double nifrod. What is the meaning of yesh? A presence. I exist. Like we spoke about before, we said there is something, there's reality, and then there is the tangible. Something that's real, like you said, right? Something that you see, you don't have to touch it. It's there, and you don't have to touch it, because it's real. Which means that it does not insist on saying, I'm really here. If you come near, I'm not going to let you go. I'm not going, yes, I'm blocking your way. It doesn't have to do with the yeshes. Why? Because what you see is the meaning and the reality of it. When you see a table, what do you see? A piece of wood that won't let you go through, or you see something that's usable as a table? What do you see? You see something that's usable at a table. You see, if I get the beetle of it, the service that it gives, not its kashbis, its yeshes. Something that does not have any connection to anything, dover nifrod, has no connection to anything, has no service, no connection to any bigger reality. So how does it proclaim its presence? Yesh, I'm here. I'm here. You better watch out. If you walk, you're going to get hurt, because you're going to stumble upon something very hard and you're going to get hurt. That's it. Because it stands for nothing. It doesn't really relate to the environment. Like a big log in the middle of wilderness. Let's say. A big log is the same material as this table. except the big log sits over there in the middle of the wilderness, and it doesn't serve anybody anything. It's there because it is there. It's not related to its environment. It doesn't serve any practical purpose of being there. So therefore, its whole metzius is that I'm here, yes. You can't ignore it. Ignore me. The table, for example, why is the table here? Because it's in this room. It serves the room. It serves the people around it. It doesn't scream about its yeshus. It screams about its value. Its service. It becomes part of the big environment of the room. It's not davar nifrod. If the table is broken, for instance, it becomes a davar nifrod because it doesn't serve anything in this room, so we take it out. It doesn't belong here. Right? This is how the world appears. Yesh v'davar nifrod. Doesn't connect to anything, doesn't connect to Hashem, doesn't connect to godliness. I'm here. That's a davar nifrod. Because the godliness that creates it, and the purpose for which it was created, the spirit for which it was created, its chayus is concealed. It's hidden. And this is what was created to Asara Ma'amoris. Okay. Ukloluson hu bechinas maimer echot. Kloluson. There are 10 Ma'amoris, 10 utterances. But then there is klolusum. Klolusum means that which is the cloud for all these utterances. Cloud means that which contains and is the source for all these utterances. So klolusum, the cloud for all these 10 utterances, is who? Bechinas maimer echad. This is the bechina of the maimer echad, of the one of a maimer echad, of a single maimer. Like the Mishnah says, right? You all learn the Mishnah. Ba'asar ma'amoris nivra ha'elam, u'mata amud leimer, ba'alei b'maimer echad yochel lehiboris. So this thing of ba'alei b'maimer echad yochel lehiboris is not just a question. Why was it 10? It could have been 1. The real meaning of this mission is like this. Before the Asar Ma'amoris was a Maimer Echad. So since there was a Maimer Echad, the Maimer Echad was powerful enough to create everything, so why did it go down to 10 Ma'amoris? Why was it necessary to take the Maimer Echad and then translate it in 10 Ma'amoris? That the Mishnah explains why. But the truth of the Maimer Echad, which is the source of the 10 Ma'amoris, that remains true. This is Maimer Echad, this is Yochel Hibori, this is what actually is the source of the creation. And this is what the Rebbe says, Klol Lusum Maimer Echad. The klolos, the koyach behind the Asar Ma'amoris, is the Maimer Echad that actually could have created it and actually provides the koyach for its creation.
What's the Maimer Echad? I don't know. What is it?
We're still going to discuss it and learn over here. The Rebbe is going to discuss it, but the answer to your question is the Maimer Echad essentially is Hashem said, let there be a world. What does that mean? Everything. Everything that's in the world fits into the world. Ma'amer echad. Nothing in the world is what we call extraneous, which means doesn't fit into the general scheme of things. Nothing. Everything fits in the general scheme of things. Even though there's so many details, millions and billions of details, they all fit. A human being, generally speaking, consists of three sections. The human body, the head, the middle, the body, and the feet. Each one of these sections has a very important function to perform. And each one of these sections performs its function by utilizing many different parts. Right? For instance, a hand, an arm is not just an arm. An arm has an elbow, and it can move in all kinds of different directions. And then it has a wrist that is altogether a miracle creation. Then it has fingers. I can do all kinds of different things. All of these details are part of this little creation called a hand on an arm. Now, every part serves a purpose, right? The din is like this. A kohen is not supposed to have a mum. You all know that, right? A kohen cannot do the avodah if he's a baal mum. What constitutes a mum by a kohen? So, What sagst du?
I'm missing Aver.
I'm missing Aver. I'm missing Aver. Ooh.
Oh, even a blind one eye. Remember, okay.
That's wow. That's a mum. That's missing Aver. That's not just a mum. It's really a blemish. Something missing. One eye larger than the other makes it a baal mum and he can't do the avodah. But then you say, okay, look, it doesn't look nice, one eye larger than the other one. It doesn't. There's some effect. It's not really a gracious appearance. But let's say if he is missing the little toenail. You know what a little toe? Little toe is on the foot. We also have 5 fingers. These 5 fingers are called toes. And among these 5 toes, there's the little toe. Now, the big toe has a certain, it serves a purpose. When a person walks, he pushes himself using the big toe. And the middle, the little toe hardly serves any purpose at all. It has no koyach to push the person to do anything. It's just there. Not just there, it has a little function, but very minimal. The nail on the toe is just to protect the toe. If he's missing the nail on that little toe, he becomes a baal mum, and he can't do the avodah.
Wait, you mean the part of the nail that grows?
Yeah. But
The whole thing, the whole thing.
Oh, okay.
he's missing that, or the nail is cut down a little too far than normal. Whatever it is, it's missing something. Or the nail is crooked, that is very common. And he becomes a baal mum. And he can do the avodah. Although it has no effect at all on serviceability, on his ability to do what he needs to do. Totally. He's a perfect person in terms of functionality. Why is it a mum? because a mum is not referring to functionality, referring to the perfection of a human being. And a human being is supposed to have 5 toes on each foot, and each one of the toes is supposed to have a nail on it, and if it's missing, it's not a perfect person. In other words, when you define a human being, a person, just create a human being, what did he create? A human being perfect. And if a little toenail is missing, then it's missing in the definition of a human being. The full standing, the perfection of that definition. This is called the Maimer Echod, that defines what a human being is. Then it goes to many, many Maimoros, 613 actually, because a human being has 613 different parts. Each part has a certain functionality. That's on the functional level. But on the initial definition level, it's one thing. It's a human being, and that's why he has all these parts. And if he's missing any of the parts, we don't say that he's missing that part. He's not perfect as a human being. You understand that, right? This is called Maimer Echad. So the Gemara says, Maimer Echad Yochel Hiboris, the world is so perfect that one Maimer really incorporates the entire creation. And everything that we have in the world is actually just exposing that which was contained in the Maimer Echad. And it's all one entity, one perfect world. And this Maimer Echad, this is the source of the whole creation. Okay? This is what the Rebbe says. That klolusum, the klolus of all the 10 Maimoros, that which incorporates all of them, includes all of them, this hu bechinas Maimer Echad. This is the aspect of the Maimer Echad that originates the creation of world per se, and from this emanates all kinds of different details. The sun and the moon and the stars, and the earth and the mountains and the rain and the grass and everything. It's all part of that Maimer Echad. But it came out an individual Maimoros. We'll go into the parentheses just for the moment, because we went to Maimer Echad, so we'll just go into, briefly in there. Shehu bechinas mokoir almodi iskasya. This Maimer Echad, this is the mokoir. And this mokoir is also called almodi iskasya. This is the concealed, the hidden world. The world that does not come forth in full expression. Ukiyodua, and as is known, the Maimer Echad, that this Maimer Echad, hu bechinas machshava. This is actually the bechina of machshava. Just like by a person, one thought, in one thought, can exist and originate a whole long speech. If a person wants to write a book, ultimately there's one thought he wants to bring out in the book. And the book can be 1,000 pages long. This is the Bechinas Machshava. This Machshava is where the essence of that element is contained, is identified. This Bechinas Machshava, this is like the Maimer Echad. Everything is contained therein. And from this and this is called Almodi Iskasya. Because Machshava is concealed. But everything is there. Okay, we have to interrupt now. All right, so we'll pick up in Mitzvah Shem from this parentheses.
So non-Abba is the makar. Is makar the word which is called like on the discussion.
This is Maimar Echad is
on the discussion.
Maimar Echad is the Amud Iskasio, and this is the Mokeh for Amud Isgalio, the Asura Maimoris.
It sounds like it says makar. Sounds like it is the makar of that.
No. Hu Bechinas Mokeh. This is the element of Mokeh, which is Amud Iskasio. Okay.
I'll make.
So we'll next week in Mitzvah Shem we'll start from Tuesday. Huh?
Tuesday's this week.
Tuesday's Yisachar.
Hopefully, okay.
Oh.
Do you remember hearing that the yeshiva doesn't open?
If the yeshiva is not open Tuesday, so we'll start Wednesday.